Okay, so we're going to keep this very basic and just talk about some things, do's and don'ts, things you should be doing on the track, things you shouldn't be doing on the track. Okay, so I'm going to run through this. If you have any questions, please just raise your hand and let me know. Okay. All right. First thing, let's talk track map. Hold please. First track map. No, it's in here. I was all set up in the other room. Does that look familiar?
Yeah. Someone did it for you, but then you erased it. That's a big one.
All right. Entering the track. Okay. On our track, pit lane is right here, and you pull out onto the track just like that. Does that look familiar to everybody? Okay. Whether it's our track here or the Katy track, whatever, you never pull out onto the track without slowing down or even stopping here and looking, in this case, looking to your right to make sure nobody is coming. Does that make sense? When at the start of the race or in practice, when they tell everyone to go and you guys are all leaving together, then the track is probably clear, but you should always look before you pull out. You with me on that? Okay. Exiting the track. In this case, come around turn 13. We're going to exit the track right here. When you know you're going to exit the track, when you're all the way back here, stick your arm up in the air one time. Let people behind you know you're going to pit. Okay? It's okay to put your hands, both hands back on the steering wheel and turn for turn 13 if you need to do that. But then after you get around turn 13, put your hand back up in the air. Way up in the air. Okay? Way up in the air. Same way at Katy. When you pull out of the pits going either direction, you should always look and make sure no karts are coming. Okay? When you pull off the track at Katy, hand goes up in the air before you pull into pits. That way people behind you know you're going to pit. Okay? This is a pretty tight entry, tight corner, and kind of narrow. So make sure you slow down plenty to make it around that corner. Okay? Don't try to go in there too fast. You with me? Any questions about that? Okay? Cool. It's on my list. Gotta follow my list here. You should never be swerving around the track either. Okay? So when you pull out onto the track, we'll talk about the preferred driving line a little bit here in a minute, but you should never be swerving from side to side. When you're going down the straightaway, stay in one lane going down the straightaway unless you're making a pass or something like that. But you shouldn't start here on the outside, then scooch over to the inside, and then go back to the outside. You should always stay going straight. Okay? Obviously, let's talk about like turn from 15 into turn 1. When you come around turn 15, you'll end up out here on the outside edge, not all the way to the outside edge. But then you want to get back over a little bit before you turn into turn 1, so you will kind of cross over the center of the track, and that's okay because you're getting set up for the next corner. But when you're going down a straightaway, you would never want to scoot over and then go back. Okay? Stay going straight. You with me? Okay.
Can you tell them why?
What's that?
Tell them why?
Does anybody know why you wouldn't want to swerve?
Someone could like be right next to you and like crash into them, and maybe you could go over them, or they can go over you, or it could be like a very dangerous wreck.
Yes. So if somebody was trying to pass you and you didn't know they were trying to pass you, and you all of a sudden made a quick lane change or move, and we'll talk more about that when it comes to passing. But yeah, you could pull in front of that person that's trying to pass you. So you want to stay going straight. Okay. Cool. So let's talk a little, we're going to go through a couple little very basic things here, and we'll talk about passing and whatnot, okay? But the single most important thing to being successful on the racetrack and out there on the streets, parents, is vision. We'll talk more about vision in a minute. But what I mean by vision is learning to look way far ahead and look where you want the kart to go. Don't just stare off the front of the go-kart and look at the ground right in front of you, because then you can't see things. You don't see, like if somebody spins out, so let's just say somebody spun out here in turn 14. Well, if you're not looking from here, I'm already looking way into there, right? But if you're just looking right off the front of the kart, you're not seeing what's going on over there. So you have to learn to look really far ahead, okay? The most important thing to being successful on the racetrack is vision. Learning to look really far ahead, okay? Also, it's a vision of a visual awareness. Your vision shouldn't be tunnel vision focused like this. It should be open, okay? All right? When I'm standing in pit lane and Aiden's coming down this little straightaway, I just go like this and he sees me, okay? He's not looking at me. I don't want him looking at me. I want him looking at the racetrack. But what that tells me is that his vision is very open and elevated, so he sees things that are happening, okay? That's what I mean by looking ahead, okay? Look way ahead. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Concentration. You must be concentrating the whole time you're out there about the task at hand, meaning driving around the track, racing with your competitors, okay? All right. Make sure you're concentrated. For whatever reason you ever get tired, hot, thirsty, okay, maybe not the last lap of the race, but come into the pit and get yourself hydrated, because if you're dehydrated a little bit, then your mind's not working as good as it is. So if you lose concentration, it becomes not safe for you anymore. Pull off the track, drink some water, take a break. Okay? All right. We're gonna skip a bunch of that other stuff. Hand position. You should hold your hands just like this on the steering wheel all the time. If it was a clock, it would be 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on a clock, right? 3 and 9. This is where you should leave your hands all the time. Okay? You should never be shuffling your hands around as you're going through the corners. Leave your hands at this position all the time. Yes, sir.
I usually put my hands at the bottom but you're putting them in the middle, but I usually put them at the bottom so I'm seeing what to do.
Like that far, you think?
Yeah, like that.
Okay. So here's where this can be a little bit different.
Like the top of the thing. Yeah, like
So depending on your seating position and where your steering wheel is at, somewhere between here and here is where you want to be. Okay. The biggest thing is do not move your hands around all the time while you're driving. Okay. Because then you can't get used to how much I need to turn the steering wheel. There gets to be this thing called muscle memory. I get to this corner and I normally know I need to turn the steering wheel this much, right? Well, if you start shuffling your hands around, you're moving your hands all the time, then you get to that corner and you don't really know how much you need to turn the steering wheel anymore. You leave your hands at the same position all the time, okay? It helps you be smoother going through the corners too. Okay? So leave your hands at that position all the time, all right? I don't talk about any of that. Nothing. Check out these guys, these three different drivers, all top level drivers, 3 different go-karts, and take note to their hand position, right? Body posture, head position. So that vision thing I was talking about, when you go through some of these tight corners, in particular like this one and 14, if you come up to the corner and I don't see your head turn and look into the corner, it means you're not looking far enough ahead. Okay? You have to physically turn your head as you're going through these corners in order to see. That tells me that you're looking far enough ahead. Okay? Look at their head. They're all turning, looking into that corner, right? Body posture. Nice upright body posture. Lean slightly in as they're going into the corner. That's how you should drive. You shouldn't drive with your body leaning to the outside as you're going through the corner. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, cool. So a little bit more about vision. So as I said, we're wanting to look way far ahead. So if we're going down the straightaway, I want to be looking way down the straightaway to where maybe my braking reference is, where I want to get off the gas and brake for the corner, except you guys don't really do much of that. But then there's the point of the corner where we turn into the turn. So I want to be looking for where that turn in is. Before I get to the turn in, or right when I'm at the turn in, I need to be looking all the way into the corner. That requires turning your head, looking into the corner. When I get to the apex of the turn, we'll talk about that in a minute, then I want to be looking all the way out there at the exit. That's looking ahead. That's the vision thing. Does that make sense? Look way far ahead. Yes, sir?
So you see those like things that go on? Is that like their vision that you're showing you where they're seeing?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what that's representing. Yes, sir. Good question. Driving lines. Too crazy in depth in this. We could save that for another one-on-one day. But we'll talk a little bit about the driving line. Okay. A constant radius turn like this. What turn is that like on this track?
Turn 11.
Turn 11, right?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
it has like the same angle.
It does, all the way around, right? All the way around, the same angle. That's called a constant radius turn. In a constant radius, well, let's back up. In every turn, you have the point where you turn in for the corner, right? That's where you initiate the steering, and that's where you turn in. That's called the turn in of a corner, right? Then there's the innermost part of the turn, that clipping point where you get to, I call them the candy stripes for you kids, the red and white stripes, right? Candy stripes. That point where you get the closest to those candy stripes is called an apex of a turn, okay? And then there's the exit of the turn. Every turn has a turn in, an apex, and an exit. You with me on that? Okay. So, in a constant radius turn like this, assuming that it leads onto a little straightaway, which it kind of does here, you want to be all the way over to the outside edge before you turn into that corner, right? Then you want to get to the apex of the turn just past the center, and then you want to use all the road on the exit, like that. Okay? What happens if you're, instead of going all the way to the outside, what happens if you're driving up and you're like right here on the inside and you try to turn in for that corner? What do you think happens there?
It'll make a too tight turn,
Yep.
and then it'll like not go that fast. So if you like go like to the outside, it'll make a wider turn and a smoother turn. Because like if you do it that way, you could like it would be too sharp and like.
Yeah, so the biggest point to that, biggest takeaway to that is that it makes the turn too tight and you can't go very fast around that corner. If you try to go too fast, you spin out, right? So think how much tighter that turn is if you're way on the inside here turning in too early, okay? Does that make sense? Cool, all right. How about a turn like this? It's called an increasing radius turn. The road opens up at the exit, gives you more road out there. What turn do you think this is like?
Oh, that's like 14.
Like number 14,
I'm
right?
working on that.
You've been working a lot on that, right? And how important is that turn to get right? Very important, because it leads all the way, this is all full throttle for you guys, right? So if you don't get this one right, then you're slow all the way down to here, okay? The proper way to do that is be all the way to the outside here, apex the middle here, and come out to the outside, something like that, okay? Should look something like this. To the outside. With me on that?
Yeah.
What happens if I come around turn 13 and I'm like right here in the middle of the road?
The same thing will happen what I said on turn 11. Except it'll be sharper.
Except it'll be way sharper, you might spin out, or you might fly off the track.
Yeah, and go through that fence like the sun.
That would be bad.
That happened,
You don't wanna do
except
that.
she didn't turn. I'm just going, we're going full speed.
So in any turn, if you turn in too early for the corner, or you make it too tight, if you turn in too early, you apex too early. If you apex too early, you run out of road and you run off the track. So if you ever find yourself running off the edge of the track on the exit of the corner, tell yourself, "Oh, I turned in too early for that turn." Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Decreasing. This one here gets tighter and tighter and tighter as it goes around. Decreasing radius. It's kind of like turn 6 over here, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And turn 7, except it'll be going the opposite way.
We're not going the opposite way.
I know. That's
So
not loud.
in turn 6, the road, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter as it goes around. Okay? You have to be really patient and take your time turning into a turn like this, because if you turn it all too early into this one, you fly right off on the exit. Right? So the apex for this corner is way over here, way around the other side. Okay? And it's even later in this corner because I need to get set up for turn 7. Right? So when thinking about how to drive through a particular corner, sometimes you need to know what follows it, right? So in this example, this leads on to a straightaway, right? So I'm going to be all the way here to the outside edge before I turn, get down to the apex, and use all the road on the exit, right? That's if it led onto a straightaway. Well, turn 6 doesn't do that. If you use all the road here on the exit of turn 6, what are you doing to turn 7?
Oh, you're making a turn too tight.
Too tight, right? You're making that turn way too tight. And you have to slow down too much for that corner, okay? So we want to apex this one later to stay over to the right at the exit. You with me? Okay?
And when you apex, if you don't make your apex right, you have to go to that one and then turn and turn. So then you go like that. But that will still take away a little bit of speed, but not as much as when you like
Correct.
go like stay right there.
That is correct. All right, let's talk about the next one. Pretty simple right here, just a 90-degree kind of corner, right? Maybe like turn 8, turn 9 right here, okay? Where you're using all the road, you're all the way out here to the outside before you turn in for turn 8, and then you come out of turn 8 and you use all the road on the exit. Okay, so does that make sense? On a 90-degree type of corner, use all the road on the entry, get to the apex on the inside, all the road on the exit. Does that make sense? Any questions about that one? Pretty simple. S's. Okay, S's are chicanes. We have cool S's right here. Turn 1, 2, 3, right? All series of S's. Okay. If you don't get the first one right, then you don't get the second one right, and you certainly do not get the third one right. Okay. So what happens is all of these need to be late apexes, all the way around like this, so that we're set up ultimately, by the time we get to here, you want to be over to that left-hand side of the road before turning into turn 4, okay? So when you have S's like this, if you turn in early for the first one and apex early, then you're early to the second one and off the road. Does that kind of make sense? So you have to make sure you apex the second one, or the first one late, the late apex the second one.
We'll need a wider track for that.
You need a wider track? You ain't getting a wider track than 30 foot, bro.
I know, so we need a wider track. It's for making lots of road stuff, so you don't have to test. So you have to, but no one would ever do that, so they could.
You are too much for me. You are a funny kid. All right. Let's talk some flags here real quick. Everybody knows what a green flag is, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Go.
Go, race. The race is on, right? So when you guys do your starts, they're always standing, right? You're always standing, right? So you leave the grid, you drive around, do your warm-up lap. When you do the warm-up lap, by the time you get, over here coming up to turn 13, I'll tell you more about this in a minute. When you get up, coming up to turn 13, you should already be slowing down. Right, slow down, you start gathering everybody up, slow down to almost walking pace by the time you get to turn 15, so that you're not flying up to the start finish line and then having to slam on your brakes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Okay, you want to add anything?
Okay, so you're gonna come around and then somebody's gonna be standing there, probably me. And what am I gonna be doing? I'm gonna be doing this. Right? I'm gonna be standing right at the front doing this. And what I'm doing is I'm pointing at where that cart's supposed to go and pointing at where this cart's supposed to go. So I'm doing this, right? So your job is to come up slow and stop right on your line. It's in the same order, hopefully, that you're in the pit lane. So if you're on the left, you're on the left. If you're on the right, you're on the right. If you're first or second, you're first or second. If somebody doesn't make it, that doesn't change where you go. You go back to your spots. If you need to leave an empty one here because they spun off, that's okay. So I'll be standing there like this, and you come up and stop. If you go forward, I'll push you back where you're supposed to go. As soon as you're stopped, or I think you know where you need to go, and I can see your eyes, and you're like, yeah, I know where I'm going. I'm going to go to the next row, and I'm going to do the same thing. Standing here just like this, right? And then when we get ready to go, I'll step back. And I'll put the flag like this, and you guys will see me. I'll go up slow. I'll hold it here for a second, and as soon as that moves, you go. You're ready to go. You need to be careful because you guys are all lined up. So if somebody doesn't go, you need to be able to drive around. But I'll come up slow, and then I'll go. As soon as I twitch, you're ready to go. Now, when you're out there on the track, you got the yellow flags. I'm not the only one that has them. All the corners have them. They have yellow flags. So if there's something happening near me and it's not on the track, you'll get a standing yellow. If there's something happening near me but it's on the track, it's somebody in the track, or I'm running, go help somebody, you see it waving. Sometimes you'll see me or another corner worker, they'll be going like this. What's that mean?
It means there's an incident over here.
Yeah, there's something that you need to be looking at over there. You're looking at me, but you need to be looking at it over there, okay? And sometimes you'll see this.
That means like slow down.
Yeah, slow down. Sometimes you'll see this when you're coming around for the start. Usually it'll be slow like this, it means slow down. What happens if you see a corner worker going like this or like this?
That means stop, there's a big incident.
Yeah, there's something going on. I don't have my flag with me, but that means stop. Maybe kind of get off to the edge. You could be going the wrong direction. There could be something in the track. I don't have my flag with me. I could be doing this. So if it's a hand out like this, that means stop.
And what color flag is that for them?
Generally be yellow. If somebody has thrown their flag, you know, somebody's out on the track, you can be using both hands or doing this.
We don't use a red flag?
No, they're.
That's a different incident.
Oh, okay.
This is usually at the start where we're trying to get you guys lined up. It's kind of more informal. Maybe the rest of the track is going on and I think I can get you moving. So it's a little more informal. If something big happens on the track and you see this at any corner, what does this mean?
Stop
Take
when
your
you
brakes.
like at Katie.
Stop
Stop at a controlled.
Controlled stop. Perfect.
Don't slam on the
Absolutely
brakes.
perfect. Don't jam on the brakes. Come to a controlled stop. Keep in mind, there may be somebody that didn't see the red behind you, so if you can kind of control stop off to the side, that's okay too. And get your head up. What's going on? If there's a red flag out there, there's something to be seen, right? If there's a red flag, there's something going on. If there's one red flag, everybody's a red flag. So if you're across the track and you see some guy waving a red flags are all across the track. Don't stop right in the middle of somebody. Pull off, controlled stop, perfect, and stop. And then we will get you guys back going again. So after you see a red flag, the corner worker may say, hey, come over here so I can talk to you so we can get you back around and get you guys racing again, right? But during a red flag, that means come to a stop and stay where you're at. You can creep to a corner station, but generally stay where you're at. Okay, so we're out there running. You guys won't use those. We've got this one. What's this one? And it's not the Scandinavian diving flag.
It's for if like lap traffic.
Yep, lap traffic. Perfect. So if you're out there cruising around and you're not seeing anybody and you're like, I'm having a great time, keep having a great time. Don't do anything weird. When you see this and you're out there driving around, that means, hey, somebody else is having a great time and they're right behind me. Or they could be a ways behind me because we try to get these ahead of time. So he may not be right there behind you, but there's somebody coming. And you keep driving your line. Don't try to get out of their way. You just keep driving. Keep driving. You go, hey, there's that other guy having a great time. And then you're back to racing. When you stop seeing these, he's gone by, you're back to racing.
And if you see that flag, it's for you.
Yeah.
You guys see it? It's for you.
Yeah, if you see it, it's for you. Don't do anything weird. That just means don't freak out. There's another car coming by. Don't change your line. Don't do anything different. Just be, hey, there's another car coming by.
Or don't run their great time, or else you'll get, or else you'll run your great time by giving you a red flag.
Yeah, right? Yeah, we don't want you to run into each other. And it's just so you guys can pass each other. So we'll go over these last couple real quick. So you're out there having a great time, and all of a sudden the flag man, because the flag man's the only one that'll do this, does this. And he may do this. What's that mean?
I never knew what that means.
That's why we're having this class. It's awesome. This is halfway. So for you guys, halfway and the next two will be close together because you guys' races are short. But this is halfway. You'll see it for all the groups. All the groups are the same. We try to treat you guys the same so you guys are seeing all the flags. So when you move up, you know what all the flags are. Okay, what's this one mean?
It means go that way.
Nope, close.
It means the race it's about to be yellow flag. Yellow flag is up next.
Now this is 2 to go. So this is 2 laps to go. So as you're racing around, you'll see this, which is halfway. The next time by, you'll see this, which is 2 to go. Go ahead.
The lap before the white flag.
That's also the same thing. So this will be 2 to go. And then the next time you come by, you'll see this, which is
Last lap.
last lap, 1 lap to go. And then,
What's the stripe flag? Checker.
I'll get this one and then I'll answer your question. What's checker?
Checker flag.
Checker flag, which means that's your cool down lap. Quit racing, take it easy, go around. You're gonna pit the next time through, right? After you see the checker, you're pitting the next time through. Which one?
Is it stripe flag right there?
This one we don't use much, and we don't have it in our set. That is called a slick flag or a surface flag. You'll see it on the bigger road racing circuits sometimes. And that just means there could be a cart part in the road. It could be just started raining. Somebody could have dumped oil. It just means, hey, get your eyes up, and there's something going on. Yep, that's a slick flag. So does anybody have any other questions? You guys won't see these. The black flag, if it's rolled up and pointed at you,
Disqualified.
not quite. If it's rolled up and pointed at you like this,
I mean, stop doing what they're.
yeah, I saw what you did, and you may not have even done it intentionally, but I saw what you did and I didn't like it, right?
Yeah, and that means don't do it again.
Don't do it again. That's exactly
And
right.
that one means you're disqualified.
Yeah. This one doesn't necessarily mean it's disqualified. This could mean there's something wrong with your car.
Yeah, but
Because sometimes we don't use this one. This could be there's something wrong with your car, or there's something else going on and you need to come off track. If you've gotten the rolled a couple times, then you'll get this one, and then it's a disqualified. But generally this means, hey, there's something wrong with your car, the exhaust fell off, you forgot your neck brakes. That's happened before. Some tracks use this for you've got something wrong with your car or there's something wrong with you. Does anybody else have questions on starts or?
So which
flags?
one's disqualified? The black one?
It depends on the track. If they don't have one of these, because not all tracks have them, then they'll use this, and they'll do this, and they'll point at you going by. Sometimes they'll even have your number on a board and say, hey, number 73, you're out. All right, I'll give it back.
So, I think one of the reasons this class is, passing and rooting up has been chaotic. The more kids we get on track.
Yeah.
So, what do you think? Have they been coming on too slow or too fast on that warm-up lap?
The warm-up lap's been fine.
When they come to the grid,
When they come up to the front,
Yeah.
it seems to be okay. Usually they're going too fast, and they lock up the brakes and go past their little pit box and have to push them back. So as you're coming up to your little boxes up here, take it easy, right? Because it's harder for you to slow down. So, I mean, you can just walking pace right up and find your little spot, and you're good to go, and go to the next guy and get everybody set up.
But you don't pass on a warm-up lap.
You should not pass during the warm-up lap. If somebody's over here parked in the weeds, keep going. If somebody's out there cruising, don't pass them. You need to stay in line, in order, the same order that you came out of the pit lane.
and how many warm-up laps are there, guys?
How many laps? So when you come by me on the flag, I'll be holding this up, which means
One warm-up lap.
one warm-up lap. Next time you come around, I'll be ready to set you up in the pit lane. If something happens and you're coming around here and you see me doing this, what does that mean? You got another warm-up lap. Stay in order, no passing, but you've still got one more warm-up lap. We've had something happen, maybe we need to get somebody off track. I want you to keep going. I'll do this, one more warm-up lap to go. Okay.
What if you start off coming onto the track and one of the slower kids are ahead of you?
You should come out in the same order. If something happens and you get out of the right order or whatever, come all the way around up here and we'll straighten it out. With the kid carts, we will generally put you in order, because it's not that big a deal. We'll put you in the order that you come up front. So if you don't end up here like, I was forced! Hang out over here where I put you. It'll be fine. It'll be great. Okay? Go ahead.
Just one more thing to add,
Yeah.
but if for some reason one of the faster kids doesn't get to qualify or they get put in the back for some reason, We don't pass on the warm-up laps.
Yes,
You need
you
to
do
stay
not.
in that position for the start.
Yeah, when you
because
come
you're
out of
not
here-
racing until the green flag.
Yes, when you come out of here, you stay in the same order that you came out of the pit lane. You stay in the same order with me giving you one. You stay in the same order coming all the way up into the blocks. When I give you the green flag, that's when the race starts. Okay.
So like, on the start, if your engine stalls,
If your engine stalls,
would it like start it over? Like,
no, they won't start it over. But if you're up here and you're getting ready to start and you're like, I'm all ready, and here's the green flag, and get your hands up so that the people behind you know that you're not going to move. And that goes for the shifters and you guys too. Get your hands up. As soon as all the carts go by, either me or the flagman will come, get you started, get you moving. And then you're at the back of the pack and the race is on. Any other questions?
What do you do if you die before the green flag?
If you die, yeah, get your arms up. If you die over here before the green flag and I can get you started, I'll usually get an attempt to get you started. Yeah, just
Same
raise
here,
your
raise your
hand.
hands.
See you.
Yeah.
Because especially with 8 carts,
Yeah.
we can't hear which one is not running or if one is stopped.
That's
So
it.
if something happens, make sure you wave your hand and get their attention.
Go ahead.
what are those shortcut thingies for?
Ah, that's a good question. What are these shortcut things? See the gray things over here where the cement is? Those are all places that you do not drive. If you're out here practicing with your dad's like, look, I'm tired of standing out here, go. That's a different deal. During the race, you stay on the racing line and you go in the racing direction. You do not use the cut throughs. You'll see some of the other groups, if they abort the start, they'll come through here. That's the only one they use. They're not allowed to use them during a race either. The reason is there's too big a chance of you coming out here and going, you know what? I'm going to go left because I am absolutely sure that is the right way to go. And when I get over here, I'm going to meet the other cart head on. That's not going to be good. So do not use any cut throughs. And on the warm-up lap, no tire warming. No tire warming. Go ahead.
What do those stripes mean?
These are the runoff areas, the big candy
Those right
canes.
there, that you just point out.
These or those?
Those.
Well, this is the runoff.
They're not
This
actually
is the
there.
candy cane. Yeah, this is a big dirt pile that your dad will be stern at you for driving through because your car will be a dirt ball. All right, I'm gonna hand it. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Why is there 2 pit lanes?
Where?
He's talking about.
Oh, don't worry about that one.
Yeah, we don't.
You guys will never use this one. This is for if I have to use it for something else. So does anyone have any questions about any of the flags or anything that he talked about? You guys totally understand this?
Can you see the flags if you're not looking ahead?
If you're not looking ahead, can you see the flags?
No.
Alright. The one thing I'll say here, before I talk about that one, the one thing I'll say about this yellow, wherever the yellow is, somewhere here, the yellow. Yeah, he gave you some good examples of how the corner worker is reacting. If it's just like this, maybe there's just a cart stalled off to the side. It's not a big deal. But if he's running and waving crazy, it's a big deal, right? So make sure you're putting your hand up in the air. When you see a yellow flag, you should put your hand up in the air. Why?
So they know you.
So the people behind you know that you're slowing down. It's also important for the officials to see that because now they have seen that you recognize the yellow flag, and if somebody passes you while they're waving yellow, then they're going to get a penalty, and you're not, right? So you're recognizing the yellow flag. Always recognize the yellow flag by waving your hand.
Full speed and try to pass them back. Just keep going the same way you're going. Don't try to do that.
Yes.
And when you're waving it like that, don't try to make people pass you because if you do that when you want people to get a penalty, that actually won't count if you're not like waving. You can still go fast because it was warning you that there's like someone gone off the track.
Right.
So don't just try to get people penalty.
Okay. Perfect. Good.
Sometimes yellow flags can mean no passing.
They can mean no passing, right?
They're always no
Always
passing.
no passing, okay? When you see the yellow flag waving, there's always no passing. That's why you should raise your hand so that you're letting the person behind you know you've seen the yellow flag, okay? The blue flag. he touched on that quite a bit about passing, right? Talking about having fun, just going and doing your racing and all that good stuff, right? But if you've seen this blue flag, you know it's for you, right? You know that there's people coming behind you that are getting ready to pass you, okay?
You gotta speed up.
Right? You can speed up if you can. No, but here's the thing you don't want to do. You don't want to go, oh no, there's the blue flag, and quickly make a lane change, right? Because you might have just moved over right in front of the people who are trying to pass you, okay? So the biggest thing you can do is to stay on the right driving line and be predictable. Don't do predictable. You guys probably don't know. Stay on the right driving line and continue going. Do not, when you see this, don't panic and quickly move over right in front of somebody who might be trying to pass you. Does that
Don't
make sense?
do what Ricardo did.
Do what Ricardo did, yeah.
What Ricardo did.
Let's say that you see this, there's a flag station right here, okay? And you're going down the straightaway. And you see that person giving you the blue flag, okay? The right driving line down the straightaway is right here on the outside edge, on the left-hand side of the road. Stay on the left-hand side of the road. But it's okay for you to maybe back off the gas pedal just a little bit and point. If you know that they're right behind you, point them by in the direction you would like them to go. So I'm going down the straightaway, I'm over here on the right driving line, and I know that the faster carts are coming. I'm gonna go like this and let them go by. That tells the people that they can go around you on this side. Does that make sense? It's okay to point. If you know that they're close enough to you, you can point in the direction you want them to go around you. Okay?
What about quantity of drivers behind you?
Quantity of drivers behind, what do you mean?
Coming up behind you, how many lap traffic carts?
Because they're so spread out.
Yeah, they're usually really spread out, but the problem is, I mean, we could tell the corner workers to go, you know, like this, but now we're holding up 2 fingers and a flag, and I'm not sure they're gonna see the fingers, and so, just be aware, you know, just, again, a lot of this is gonna be fixed, but if you guys open up your vision and you're looking further ahead and you're aware of everything else that's going on around you, you'll probably know that it's 1 or 2 carts getting ready to pass you.
To be honest, they just need to keep driving the way they've been driving, right? And hold
Yeah,
their line.
hold their line, yeah. The biggest thing is just hold your line, okay? Don't make any sudden moves or slam on the brakes or whatever, okay? Any questions about any of that? Dads?
How do we teach spatial awareness when they know somebody's behind them?
Okay, so,
Because a lot of times blue flags aren't in the right spot at the right time, and we've had a lot of contact with the kids that just have no clue if there's anybody even in their same zip code.
yeah. So hopefully some of this is gonna get fixed with just visual awareness and people understanding, kids understanding who you're racing with. And, you know, when you see this, you know that someone's coming up on you pretty quick. So look around, right? It's okay to look around a little bit and see where they're at, right? Don't look around like this and drive off the track though. You always, if you're gonna look around, it really is just looking like this, right? But always, never take your eyes off the road, okay? I'm not sure that answered your question, no.
And I think the answer is seat time and experience.
Seat time and experience,
But,
absolutely.
yeah, we've
Seat time and experience.
unfortunately had to put a lot of parts on cars this year.
Well, then let's talk about like passing, right? So if I'm going down the straightaway, right? Going down the straightaway and I'm gonna make a pass on someone, how far alongside of the cart that I'm passing do I have to be for that to be my corner? Any idea? What?
Like on the white line, like if they're like cut in the middle of the track, then whichever side you are on, you have to be on the white line.
No, what I meant, let's say that these are 2 go-karts.
Oh.
We're gonna pretend these are 2 go-karts, right? I just wish I had, these are 2 go-karts, right? These are 2 go-karts. I'm going down the straightaway and I'm gonna pass this one. I'm gonna pass this one. I'm gonna pass, right? If I'm not at least halfway up alongside of the cart that I'm trying to pass, when it's time to turn in for the corner, then it's not my corner. You get what I'm saying there? You have to present yourself and be alongside of the person that you're trying to pass before it's time to turn in for that to be your corner. If you're like this, and it's time for this person to turn in, and they turn in, and then you hit them, that's your fault. You with me?
Yeah.
As long as I'm alongside of them like this, at the time to turn in, now the person on the outside needs to give way and let them go.
But if you're the one that's in front and there's somebody that's almost there, is it a good idea to cut them off?
Absolutely not.
Because
Okay?
then you both wreck,
Then you
even
both
though
wreck.
you're right.
So I'm gonna make this, I'm this guy, I'm gonna try to make this pass. If I'm like this, it's my corner and I'm gonna go. This person on the outside, you should at that point let that person have the corner, get back behind them, and then race on, right? If you turn in, crash, boom, 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 then neither of you finish, or you take yourself out, right? I would always rather give up one position and get back behind that person and race them and try to pass them back than to turn in and crash and everybody spins out. Does that make sense? Yes, sir.
You should also never pass when there's no room.
You should also never pass when there's no room.
Or when
I agree with you on
there's
that.
3 wide.
3 wide's a little tough. Yes, I would not do that either.
And
for
don't,
kid cars,
and
okay?
even if you hate the person, don't do it.
Well, you're not supposed to hate
Even if you hate the racer because of you.
But to your point, though, what I've seen is, it seems to me, what I've seen, now I could be wrong, and you guys might disagree, but the wrecks that I've seen mainly have been from the car behind.
I've seen both of them. There's been many cases where
Maybe a little
they're
too
right
aggressive.
here, and the kid in front is a lap down,
Oh, yeah,
becoming
just
a lap
moving,
down,
yeah.
and has no clue that
Right.
there's anybody there. And because these carts are so equally powerful,
Yeah.
if you come, 2 kids that get behind each other in one turn, there's often not enough power for the faster kid because they go faster through the turns, not the straightaways. Can we revisit the whole thing about who has the line? And I like to veer on common sense and finishing the race. Right. So,
But I agree with Matt, 'cause at least if we hear this as dads, we can then teach
Yeah.
our kids what you guys say is the right thing.
this is what I have seen a lot of, is you've got 2 kids coming into a corner, okay, he's coming up and you've got one right here. Is it okay to just turn and cut this guy off? You have the line, right? This one's the lead, it has the position, but is it okay to cut the other guy off like that? I've seen a lot of wrecks this year with the passer coming by and then cutting the other kid off, or they'll come up into a turn and the one gets right here and this one turns in. Yes, they still have the line, they're technically in the right, but what if you both wreck? So is that smart to cut them off even though you know you're right? Because this kid might or might not hit the brakes, and then you both wreck. So if there's somebody behind, even if they're right here, you may be right, but it's still, my opinion, is it's smarter to leave them a little bit of room and make sure you both don't wreck.
The only thing to that though is, it's the awareness,
Yes.
right?
And
And
I
so.
think if you're the passer,
Yes.
it's much easier to know not to do that,
Yeah.
but if you're in
Yeah.
the one in front, most of these kids
If
don't.
you're the
know
one in
that they're
front,
behind.
so here we go, I'm gonna make this pass, I'm going up here like I'm trying to make the pass, right? And I'm like right there, but man, I'm just not quite close enough. This person here on the outside may not even know you're there. So, if you think they're gonna turn in on you, then just back off a little bit and let them make the corner. Does that make sense? If you're not up alongside of them like that, they may not see you.
Yeah, at
Now,
least.
if you do get alongside though,
Now, if
then
you're
they're supposed to yield?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Not take your line?
If you're alongside halfway, then they need to give you, it's halfway. That's the rule. That's the standard rule, halfway.
That is the rule. I'm just trying to make sure all the kids finish. If they know they're there,
Yeah.
because I've watched the same kid try and get by 5 laps in a row, and the only way it winds up happening is with somebody in the dirt. And I'm trying to
Yes, sir.
avoid that.
Yes, sir.
And if you get in an accident and then you like pinch your leg, don't act like Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, don't act like Ricky Bob.
And don't try to make yourself
sir.
think that don't stick a knife. If like the slower person sees you, kind of like back off a little bit to let the faster people go by, because if
that's
there's
okay.
like another person behind, they're in a race and they don't want to be stuck behind slow people in a race.
That is true, but they also are out there learning how to race and racing too. So, but what his point is, what I said earlier, is that if you're being lapped and you know the people are coming, the faster carts are coming, it's okay to slow down just a little bit and let them go by. Just don't stop, don't deviate the driving, don't go off the driving line, you know. Does that make sense?
Don't slam on the brakes.
Don't slam on the brakes, don't do anything erratic, okay? Don't make a quick lane change or anything like that.
Or don't get mad, but you might end up throwing your helmet off. Then if you're racing, might hit someone in the face.
Never throw your helmet, or gloves, or neck brakes,
Even
or
if
chest
you're
protector.
mad,
Even if you don't-
Never stomp around.
Don't even throw a crumb.
That's right. Parents, any questions? Is there anything you feel like?
I think where I've seen accidents happen this year is where it's on the exit often of a corner, not just going into the corner. So it's like the kid is, you know, like my son sometimes still brakes when he leaves the corner, right? So he's not doing a good job there. But the reality is that then you have karts and they're right kind of behind him and he's not doing the predictable thing that you expect. And I think also there's another part which is just changing your line when you want to overtake somebody. As you come into the corner, realise they might use all the track but you need to go down the inside.
Right.
Or expect the unexpected.
Oh, hey, that's a good point. Always expect the unexpected,
Especially with 5-year-olds.
especially fighters.
It's just, it's, you know, a lot of it is just.
Yeah, so the older kids recognize that someone out there still learning, they're not always gonna do the right thing. So you guys always need to be ready.
Anytime I ever go drive on track, no matter what, anytime I drive on track, I am well aware of who I'm out there driving around with. And I'd never take a risk of passing someone that I'm not sure what they're gonna do, right? It's just a fact, because I don't know what direction they're gonna go or whatever, right? So always be aware of who you're out there driving with.
Oh, you don't like it.
Any questions?
Especially if it's a giant dog that can eat someone.
Thank you guys for all getting involved in karting and coming racing at Speedsportz. Appreciate ya.
That's too good.
Let's go have some fun today, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.